The power of thought. Change your life with your thinking. In a small, picturesque village at the foot of a mountain lived Lefteris, a young man known to all for his tendency to always see the negative in every situation. If it rained, he complained that the rain spoiled his business. If the sun was shining, he said it was too hot and unbearable. Even in the most beautiful moments, he found something to complain about. His life seemed like an endless chain of disappointments. Leftery's attitude towards life had become the central point of discussion in the village. Neighbors, who tried to encourage him, urged him to see life from a more optimistic point of view. Lefteris, life is beautiful if you look at it in a positive light. They would tell him in good humor. However, Lefteris' response was always the same. What good is beauty when everything around me is trouble? His perception of the world was beginning to get the better of him. In his eyes, the world seemed full of obstacles, difficulties, and dead ends. Negative thinking had taken over his life, and he found it difficult to see beyond it. One day, an old sage visited the village. He had traveled to many places and had gained immense wisdom about the life and nature of people. The old man was known for his positive attitude and ability to help others find happiness. Everyone talked about his wisdom and how he had been able to bring happiness and balance to people who had lost hope. Lefteris, though initially hesitant, decided to meet him. He hoped that perhaps this old man had something to offer him, something that could help him escape the sadness and negativity that dominated his life. He was ready to try anything, even if it was hard to believe. When he met the sage, Lefteris explained his situation in despair. Everything around me is trouble. What can I do? The old man looked deeply into his eyes, without saying a word, and handed him a small mirror. This mirror will show you the answer, he told him in a calm and wise tone. Lefteris, doubtful but curious, looked at the mirror and saw the reflection of himself. Seeing his face, he realized that his gaze was filled with anger, discomfort, and sadness. What do you see? The old man asked in a calm tone. I see a man who is unhappy, replied Lefteris, recognizing the reflection of himself, full of negative emotions and doubts. The old man smiled at him and said, Your life is as you see it. If you change your thoughts, you will change your world. The mirror shows what you choose to see. At that moment, something clicked in Leftery's mind. If his thoughts could change how he saw life, then perhaps he had the power to transform it. So, Lefteris decided to try the old man's advice and change his mindset. He began to pay attention to his thoughts and revise them. Instead of complaining about the rain, he began to say, Rain brings life to the fields and makes the land richer. When the sun shone, he smiled and enjoyed the warmth, saying, How nice it is to live on such a warm day. The changes may have been small at first, but each time he changed his thinking, he felt that his life was getting a little better. Over time, his life began to change. Neighbors noticed the difference and began to avoid him less. Lefteris was participating in village activities again, helping others and smiling more. The atmosphere around him became more positive, and people began to see him in a different light. The change that his inner transformation had brought about was reflected in his relationships with others. A few weeks later, Lefteris realized that happiness was not something he found outside, but something he was creating inside. He began to keep a journal, recording his thoughts and expressing gratitude for life's small joys. His life, and with it the village, had changed. The village, initially full of grumbling and frustration, was filled with positive energy, solidarity, and hope. The lesson of history: our lives are a reflection of our thoughts. If we change the way we think, we can change the world around us. It is the power of thought that allows us to see difficulties as challenges and find ways to overcome them with positivity and hope. When we decide to focus on the good, the positive, and let go of negative thoughts, we truly begin to change our lives.